Hi there, Loy Machedo speaking from loymachedo.com. I know it's Loy Machedo. Today the date is 29th May 2016. Time right now is 1:14 in the afternoon. Okay, I got this question from a lady who asked me, apparently her husband smokes, drinks, is abusive, and she just wanted to know that apparently she has asked for a divorce, and now it seems he is promised her he's going to change. He's going to change. He will change 100%. But she still has this nagging doubt somewhere back of there. Like, do you think he's going to change? Okay. I don't want to just give you my opinion. I want to give you a scientific perspective. So why abusive men, alcoholic men, or men who womanize or whatever, why they will never change? Why? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, and if I get more, I'll add them up. Okay. The first one is you need to understand that the neurobiological nerve pathway. Okay. There is always like just put it in simple terms. Like just think your brain has roads. Okay, and these pathways that are there in the head, like my tattoos. Okay, they light up. They light up, and there are these nerve endings which give pleasure. Okay, so now as you drink alcohol, think for example, drink alcohol, smoke, they light up, and you get this pleasure. Wow! You drink one small bag, glue, they light up. Then you drink one more bag, light up, and it goes on like the pleasure stays, the effect stays for half an hour. So when the pleasure goes, you get a hangover, and you're like, oh, I need to get that pleasure again. So what happens is, as you keep drinking alcohol over a period of time, it keeps lighting up, but then people want more. They don't want just pleasure, they want more pleasure. That's why from one cigarette it goes to 2 cigarettes, then goes to 3 cigarettes, 4, 5, 6, then becomes 1 full pack, then becomes 2 packs, then become 3 packs. So these pleasure centers have to be stimulated every time. So that is why from, first they drink one drink, 30, 30 milli, or I don't know, I don't drink alcohol. So they drink so much alcohol, then it goes so much, then goes so much, then it becomes 1 bottle, then becomes 2 bottles. So every time they need more. It becomes desensitized. Yeah, I got that word right. Sensitized. Okay, so they have to keep bringing more and more. And then, it's like sugar. If you stop sugar completely from your system for a month, and then you try having the same thing, like let's say you take a Starbucks cafe with a coffee with 2 sugars, okay, with latte and whatever. After 1 month, if you don't have sugar and you go back to it, you'll find that is exceptionally sweet. They're like, oh my goodness, that gives me a headache, because you get desensitized, okay, that you keep having the sugar. So the same thing with drinking, smoking, or anything that gives you pleasure. You need that. And once you stop doing that, there is this strong, very super strong withdrawal symptom that is real, physical. You'll shiver, you'll get angry, you'll go mad. Like when I don't have sugar, when I don't have carbs, just imagine carbohydrates, I get violent mood swings. I become angry, I become moody. So the first one is the neurobiological nerve path endings that are there have to be stimulated, have to give you this kind of pleasure. Others, it doesn't help out. The second one is you need to understand the cognitive functions, which are there. They get they get affected. Now, let's see, for example, let me give you an example of this. So, I talk some sense. Now, what is the cognitive functions? Okay. When you talk of cognitive functions, who's that now? I hate when someone comes and disturbs me in my recording. 1 minute. Yeah, sorry. So I was talking to you about cognitive function. Now, if you look at cognitive functions, just Google this, you'll find that what it means, it's the different ways by which you perceive and judge. Okay, so it's how your brain functions. And then I want you to Google and search and find out chronic relapsing brain disease. Okay, you just have to go to the National Institute of Drug Abuse. See, it's what is drug addiction? Addiction is defined as chronic relapsing brain disease that is characterized by compulsive drug-seeking use despite harmful consequences. So what happens is you keep going back to those habits which are very, very harmful, destructive, and which you know for a fact is going to completely harm you in more ways than you know. So what happens is, for a person who is addicted to alcohol, drugs, even sex or whatever, yet it just clouds their judgment. It clouds their judgment, and they cannot get out of it. It's a vicious cycle. Okay, the second one, and yeah, I give you two terms, that is cognitive function and also chronic relapsing brain disease. Google both these points, you'll understand more about this. I don't want to talk about it because I'm not a doctor, so to speak. Okay, the third one is the mental instability that occurs due to the cognitive dissonance of lying, self-denial, facing reality, taking personal responsibility, the drive and desire to consider themselves different, guilt and shame, feeling of empowerment that comes from fooling themselves that they are in control. Now, this point is massive. It's big. I need to break it down for you. So, first one is the mental instability that due to cognitive dissonance of lying. Now, what is cognitive dissonance? It's very simple. You will cherry pick those examples or reason that support your argument. Now, let's say, for example, what do I talk about? What I mean by cognitive dissonance in terms of, wait, let me tell you, where is it? Cognitive dissonance in terms of this. Okay, let me just give you this. See, cognitive dissonance is having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, especially relating to behavioral decisions or attitude changes. Let's say, for example, I give you 10 examples. Five examples. Let's say you are a Christian. You're a hardcore Christian and you believe Christianity is the real thing. So I give you examples saying that one man went to the sea and he drowned, but he was miraculously saved because he held the Christian cross. The second one, I say that one guy had an accident and a preacher prayed over him and he healed. Third example, I give you, one guy kept the photograph of Jesus and automatically got a job. So Christians will say, yes, see, I told you Christianity is true. Look. But then if I give an example saying, there was a Hindu who went into the sea and he drowned and he prayed to his Hindu god and he healed. Another one is the same examples, but I twist the argument by saying a Hindu god. The Christian will say, no, this is all rubbish. The only true God is a Christian God. It is because of cognitive dissonance. They'll only cherry pick those examples that suit their argument. It's like a table. I always give this example to myself. A table. They have something that they've decided, and then they'll put legs below it to support the argument. The legs is whatever examples support their decision. So the first one is the mental instability due to cognitive dissonance of lying. Okay, so lying, self-denial, and not wanting to face reality and take personal responsibility. This is one of the biggest sicknesses that people who smoke, drink, do drugs, or get into sexual madness, because they just keep lying to themselves. They tell themselves lies. They want to deny it. They just want to escape this reality that instead of facing it, they'll go into this. So that gives them a high. That takes them into a different world. So they love to do it. And then the next one is the drive and desire to be different. See, people want to be different. So if they're bored of their day-to-day existence, let's say they have enough stress in the office and they want to get out of it. So they indulge into these pleasureful activities that give them pleasure, that takes them out of their current reality. And also keep this in mind, even something as simple as the thrill of the chase, when they chase a girl, it is like something that is fun and exciting for them to do. So they do it. Then the guilt of shame and the feeling of empowerment. Guilt, shame. You need to understand that when someone is drinking, they don't feel guilty, they don't feel shameful, nothing. However, after that is over, then they start getting the hangover. Then, oh, shish, why did I do this? So then, oh, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And they go back to it again. So it's like a vicious cycle. And the feeling of empowerment, when you drink alcohol, when you smoke, you feel like a cool guy. When you drink, you feel like, oh, I'm in control. You feel invincible. The same thing which happens even during exercise. They feel incredible. So they want that. They just want that. And, that will come to the next point. How is it that this happens? This happens because of the how do you pronounce this? Norepinephrine. I hate that word. Norepinephrine. Norepinephrine. Okay, I can't get that. Then dopamine, adrenaline, and serotonin. These are the chemicals that get released in your pleasure centers of the brain. and they get released. However, for example, you want to know the experience of these pleasure centers. It happens when you have sex. It happens when you have something sugary, creamy, and delicious. So it triggers these pleasure centers. However, for these people who smoke, drink, and were addicted to all these disruptive behaviors, it releases when they are lying, when they are being deceptive, when they are being manipulative. They have a distorted sense of reality, and because they keep indulging into this, they feel, I'm in control, I cheated her, I managed to fool her, I am in control of her. So they focus on their victims. Or when they smoke, drink, they fool themselves that they are in control. And last but not the least, it is the recurring destructive pattern that occurs from the disease of regret. See, when someone has regret, when someone is feeling shame, guilt, or whatever, they have to get out of it. They don't want to be there. It is a terrible feeling. It's a helpless feeling. So for them to feel empowered again, they have to go back to this. So these are the 5 reasons why someone who's drinking alcohol, who's smoking, who's into disruptive behaviors, they will never, ever, ever change, because this is a disease, a mental disease, and they are hooked onto it. So the only way for you to get out of this is to get out of this relationship completely. And if you have mental issues yourself, and this person has mental issues, then you both are meant for each other, because you both are mentally cuckoo. Unless, of course, you decide, enough of this, I need to get out, and you seek professional help only then. And you need to change everything in order to make the change. So Loy from LoyMachedo.com, and who's Loy Machedo, sharing with you his views and findings as to why people who are alcoholic, abusive, or addicts, they will never change. Never, ever, ever, ever change. So don't expect miracles, and stop fooling yourself with hope and prayer and all that stuff. If you want practical solutions, you need to be practical yourself. So Loy from LoyMachedo.com, sharing with you what he thinks. Let me know what you think also. I'd love to hear from you. Goodbye for now.